And the,
yes.
okay,
So,
hi everyone.
thank you.
The next speaker is Breezy Ocan Flaquer. My
Yes.
pronunciation is right?
Yes. Breezy Ocan.
Ocan. The Breezy from the Dominican Republic. So you are freelance? What do you mean freelance? Okay, please introduce by yourself in your talk. The title is Mindful and Yoga Astronomy. It's very interesting. Okay, please start.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. Can everyone see well there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I changed too fast. So, yes, I'm going to talk about yoga and mindfulness in astronomy for early education. As you correctly said, my name is Breezy Ocan Flaquer, and I am from the Dominican Republic. And I finished my PhD in the Instituto de Radioastronomía Milimétrica in the 30-meter telescope in Granada, Spain. And while I was there, I was working also as a support astronomer while I was also performing outreach activities. I've been doing outreach ever since I started studying astronomy because it's something I really like. It's a passion of mine, the education. My main language is Spanish, as you can all probably have noticed by now. So excuse me with my English, but I'm going to do my best. These are just some of the images of outreach being done in Dominican Republic. Now I'm going to start with what is mindfulness. So mindfulness is just to be present here and now with full awareness. This means that we bring all our senses into whatever we're doing, just to prepare our mind for understanding the activity we're doing. But how to include this mindfulness on an astronomy class for kids? So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of the activities that has been developed and how mindfulness has been incorporated into it, and why. And I think all these mindfulness included into these activities helped a lot in understanding the concept we're trying to teach. In the case of the phases of the moon, for example, we ask the kids to first do an air dry clay. They have to make it themselves with materials they can find at home or very easily accessible. And of course, non-toxic materials, environmentally friendly. And in this case, we were using cornstarch and baking soda. We can start by asking them to mix the dry ingredients and asking them how does it feel with their hands and how does it feel when they move it with the spoon. Can they hear anything if they get close enough? Do they smell anything? And then we add the water and we start moving in and we keep asking questions. We're bringing the attention to what we're doing right now. And then we have to warm it up a little bit on the stove, of course, with the help of the parents. And at this point, we keep with the questions and the conversations about what is happening. I'm not even going to mention all the learning that is happening in mathematics and in chemistry. I'm just going to stick to the astronomy and the way of including mindfulness into this. Then we have to wait until it cools down, and in the meantime, we can observe the moon. The idea is to observe the moon for 30 days so that we can observe a whole cycle of the moon. They go outside, observe the moon, and they can either draw it on their calendar and then do the sculpture of the face of the moon they observed with the clay they have just prepared, and or they can do it right away by observing the moon. By the end of the 30 days, they should have different faces that they have drawn, and they should put them together in the order that they were made. So they have their own moon phases cycle that they have just created. They can put it in a piece of cardboard and hang it in their house and as a piece of art that they have just done. The point is that when they're using the clay, they're really using all the senses. They're bringing it while they're observing and analyzing the different phases of the moon. When we move to another example, for example, we were discussing about how big is the solar system? What are the sizes of the planet? Which one is the biggest planet? Which one is the smallest planet? How big is the sun compared to the Earth and the rest of the planets? When questions like these come up, we decide to go outside and draw it in the biggest place we can, as big as we can possibly can. And the key here is to do it, the drawings, to scale. So respecting the difference in sizes between the sun and the rest of the bodies of the solar system, or the planets in this case. After, of course, it was decorated because a 5-year-old want to put their signature into their work, then we ask to take mindful walks. But the way this looks like is just, we walk around the circumference of the sun and we breathe with each step and we count the steps. We repeat these with each planet, and then we have to write it down in our book that we are filling because, you know, we're scientists and we're doing our research. When you don't have the opportunity to do this in a big space so you can take the big steps, you can do it in a small paper or combining papers, as long as you respect the difference in sizes. And you can do the exact same exercise, but this time you can walk with your fingers and you can repeat the same thing. The point is that you're bringing your attention. You're being present in what you're doing. When we talk about how far the planets are, how big is the solar system in terms of distance, very similar activity was done. And then again, walks, in this case, we use just magazines to make like all the strips. So we were working on, I don't know, measuring and making the strips according to the different distances. And then we took our mindful walks. This is the way, for example, we did it, but then there's, for example, another picture of other girls doing the exercise, and they can bring their own creativity. There's no set way to do it. As long as we do it, bringing the mindfulness into the exercise. And even here again, if we don't have the opportunity to be outside, we can repeat the same exercise. And again, walking with our fingers. And we write it down in our little scientific book that we're filling. And why to use mindfulness? Why to include these into our exercises? It is because when we combine several ways of learning, the retention is higher. I have chosen an approach that uses multiple intelligence. I believe that by doing these, you harness your mental energy, you expand and you deepen the comprehension that they might receive from the activity, but you also bring enjoyment into the activity. When there is enjoyment into the activity, you remember it. There's a higher chance that you will remember what you did. And when you think back of probably your first astronomy classes, you will think good about the astronomy. It would probably open more doors for you to become a scientist if that's what you want. Now, how does this really look like? So this started as an idea that I was going to go to schools and I was going to practice with a lot of kids, and but then the coronavirus came and everything changed, and then we had to go to an online platform. I was trying to use Google Classroom. So I was bringing some of the kids together in a class. I tried different ways by recording videos and by writing in text. It worked. It worked. There is good feedbacks. There's also important feedbacks about that sometimes it was difficult to understand because you have to write or say everything you would alternatively do yourself with the kids or train the teacher to do themselves with the kids. So we are, with the help of these wonderful artists, we are working together on a material that is very visual, very attractive, and that I think it really helps and attracts the attention of the kids to want to perform these exercises. And they will add at the next page of, for example, these, they will add the results of in this case, the steps you're finding when they are studying the distance from the sun to the objects, the other planets of the solar system. Basically, by the end of these activities, when they have many activities together, they will have their first astronomy book that they have made themselves with their own results.
Breezy, 5 minutes you have.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So yoga and astronomy, the second part of the presentation. Basically, I am a yoga teacher as well. And I have been practicing or teaching yoga to kids for a long time. And the yoga class to kids looks very different than an adult yoga class. The yoga class to kids is like you tell stories, you're involved in the story. The kids is listening to the story with the entire body, the characters and the scenarios, or everything that is happening. And naturally, I started explaining some concept using movement, so like astronomy through movement. And when we started talking about the constellations, it was very natural to me to try to do a yoga class based on the story of the constellations. When I was talking about this with Samir Dhurde from IUCAA in India, we decided to collaborate on a project which will combine 12 constellations for a full year, and we will concentrate on one constellation per month. We will start with the Greek mythology constellation because it is the most popular one, but then for the rest of the month, we will love to concentrate on the constellations from other cultures, like Indian mythology or Mapuche from Chile or any other culture or mythology that they have. So if any of you are from a place that it's reaching this contact, please contact us because it would be wonderful to create something together. This is an example. I'm gonna quickly go how it looks like. We would teach them ways to learn how to recognize the pattern of the constellations. And here we were doing a yoga class in COVID times, of course, unfortunately, but it's what we have. And where the kids were performing the yoga pose, but representing a bear walk, because Hera has just turned him into a bear. She was upset that Zeus was visiting Callisto. We are proposing these to be able to be inside of the Ministry of Education in Dominican Republic to bring astronomy into their curriculum, into their system, into their project that they're now working on becoming more virtual. And so we're trying to use this material as the astronomy part of the material. We will see what happens, but this is the plan. And I quickly want to mention that astronomy is, you can study anything using astronomy, like astronomy as a base. You can include any of the topics you want, but I just wanted to mention quickly that sustainability, in my opinion, is a really important one. When you learn to love the skies, you learn to love the planet Earth, you realize how wonderful it is. And when you love something, then you naturally want to take care of it. And we need to awaken the future generations to the value of our planet Earth, as it was very well put by somebody very close to me. In conclusion, all material used in this project is environmentally friendly. When the mind is calm, there is space for learning. Children will gain the knowledge of science and beyond. Also, we are adding the element of yoga and mindfulness. This will cultivate physical and mental well-being on them. And by approaching the learning process in this manner, we are teaching not only the mind of the child, but the entire child. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Perfect timing. So do you have any question or comment? No one? Then okay, I have a comment for you at the first part. So
yes.
I think the starting point is totally different from you, but we have the similar activity in Japan. So to recognize the size of planets and the distances of the planets. Mm-hmm. So we put the same scale. And yes. So in that case, the planet size is like this, for example.
Yes.
But in the same scale, the planet distances walk around.
Right.
So actually, we map each orbit of planet, mapping on the whole city.
Whoa, that's beautiful.
So in the same scale, we need such kind of, say, 100 meters or possibly 1 kilometer.
Right.
Say, so one of my colleagues think about that is good for the quest. to
For the
put some a stamp for each planet.
yes.
Point of the every shop, the annual zone in the distance from the center point. Actually, that is a railway station. And we did that. We are doing that, say, 10 years more.
Oh wow.
So
And
now that is one of the annual festival. So we called it the Mitaka Taiyoke Walk. Taiyoke means a solar system. And I presented this activity in GHOU and CAP meeting in Fukuoka. So I wrote the proceeding for that meeting. Please read that.
I
And
will, with pleasure.
yeah, that should be the complementary activity of yours.
Wonderful. I love it.
I think that's only the distance and size should be the same size. So the result is the same as you. The
Yes.
size of planet is a hands-on, but
Yes.
the distance is a walk-on.
Right. Yeah, because it is very difficult to have both into scale at the same time. You need a big space, as you said.
Yeah.
Even if your planets are tiny. Wonderful.
Thank you. And it Naito-san posted the URL of this activity in the chat board.
I'm sorry?
In the chat web chat.
Okay. Yes.
Naito-san post the URL, official URL of this activity.
Perfect. So I can go and take a, oh, I see that. I can go and take a look at it. Wonderful.
Okay. And through the mindfulness, maybe connect to the people who cannot see, who cannot hear.
Yes,
listen.
actually, I didn't mention it because I haven't been able to finish that, but it is part of what I'm trying to do.
So anyone has any question? No? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.